You fixed more than my bike that day, you fixed my broken soul. Those were the last words billionaire CEO Elena Vasquez whispered before Marcus threw her out of his life forever. But 3 weeks later, when his 7-year-old daughter lay dying in a hospital bed, Elena came racing back, not in her private jet, but on that same beaten Harley checkbook in hand, and tears streaming down her face. This is the story of how one rainy afternoon in Portland changed 3 broken lives forever. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, and drop a comment telling me what city or country you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Your support keeps these stories coming. Now let's begin. I should have known the moment she walked through my door that she'd destroy everything I'd spent 3 years rebuilding. Marcus Walsh was elbow deep in a Kawasaki engine that October afternoon when the rain started. Not the gentle Portland mist everyone talks about, but the kind of downpour that floods streets and sends people running for cover. He glanced at the clock. 2:45. Lily's bus would drop her off in 15 minutes, and he still had to finish this valve adjustment before Mr. Patterson came to pick up his bike at 4. 3 years. 3 years since Sarah's funeral. 3 years of being both mother and father to a little girl who still asked why mommy wasn't coming home. 3 years of making it work with duct tape and prayer and the $1,847 he had left in the bank after paying rent. The bell above the garage door chimed. Marcus didn't look up. "Be with you in a minute." "Please?" A woman's voice shaking. "Please, I need help. My bike died and I don't know anyone here and I'm..." Marcus looked up. She stood in the doorway like something out of a dream he shouldn't be having. Mid-30s, soaked through dark hair, plastered to a face that would have been beautiful if it wasn't so obviously terrified. The leather jacket she wore probably cost 3 months of his rent. Behind her, through the sheets of rain, he could see a Harley-Davidson street bob lying on its side in the middle of Morrison Street, front wheel pointing the wrong way. "Hold on." Marcus wiped his hands and grabbed his rain jacket. "Stay here where it's dry." "I'm coming with you." They ran out into the storm together. The Harley was a work of art. 2023 model midnight blue custom exhaust, barely 500 miles on it. Marcus crouched in the street, rain hammering his back, and popped the side panel. "What's wrong with it?" The woman knelt beside him, not caring that the gutter water soaked through her designer jeans. "Battery terminal's loose. Simple fix. 5 minutes." He looked at her. "You ride this from far away." "Very far." "Well, you picked the right place to break down. Help me roll it inside." Together they pushed the Harley across the street. She was stronger than she looked. Didn't complain once about the rain or the mud or the weight of the bike. Inside the garage, under the buzzing fluorescent lights, Marcus got his first real look at her. Exhausted. That was the word. Not just tired, exhausted down to her bones like she'd been running for years and finally hit a wall in southeast Portland. "Coffee?" he offered. "God, yes, please." Marcus started the ancient Mr. Coffee machine Sarah had bought at a yard sale. "I'm Marcus." "Elena." She said it quickly like she'd practiced. "Just Elena." "Just Elena who rides a $15,000 Harley." She flinched. "It was a gift, to myself, for my 40th birthday." "Hell of a gift. I figured I'd earned it." Before Marcus could ask what she meant, the back door burst open and Lily came running in her frozen backpack, bouncing her hair in the lopsided ponytail he'd managed that morning. "Daddy, Mrs. Chen says we need to bring $20 for the field trip on Friday, and also I got a gold star on my spelling test, and also Tommy Martinez said his dad could beat you in an arm wrestling contest, but I said no way because you're the strongest, and..." She stopped seeing Elena. "Who are you? Who are you?" Elena's whole face changed, softened, like someone had flipped a switch. "I'm Elena. My motorcycle broke and your dad's fixing it." "Are you a motorcycle lady like my mommy was?" The air went still. Marcus's throat closed up. "Lily, baby." "It's okay." Elena's voice was gentle. She crouched down to Lily's level. "I'm trying to be a motorcycle lady. Your dad's teaching me. Was your mom good at it?" "She was the best, but then she went to heaven 3 years ago, and now it's just me and Daddy." Lily said it matter-of-factly the way 7-year-olds do. "Do you have kids?" "No." "Why not? Lily," Marcus warned. "It's okay," Elena said again. "I don't have kids because I made different choices. I chose work instead, and now I'm 40, and I wonder if I chose wrong." The honesty in her voice hit Marcus like a punch. Adults didn't talk to kids like that. They didn't admit their mistakes, their regrets. But here was this stranger in his garage telling his daughter the truth. "You could still have kids," Lily said seriously. "Mrs. Rodriguez had a baby last year and she's really old, like 50. Marcus covered his laugh with a cough. Elena smiled and it transformed her face. "Maybe," she said softly, "maybe it's not too late." Marcus handed her the coffee. Their fingers brushed. He pulled back fast, but not before he felt that electric jolt he hadn't felt since Sarah. No, absolutely not. This woman was clearly running from something. Probably married, definitely rich. She'd get her bike fixed and disappear, and that would be that. He focused on the Harley. Behind him, he could hear Lily showing Elena her spelling test, hear Elena asking questions about school and friends and what Lily wanted to be when she grew up. His daughter's voice was animated in a way it hadn't been in months. Not since the anniversary of Sarah's death had passed in August, and Lily had cried herself to sleep asking why God took Mommy away. Marcus's hands tightened on his wrench. 20 minutes later, the Harley purred like a kitten. He rolled it out front, killed the engine, and found Elena and Lily sitting on the floor of his garage office surrounded by crayon drawings. "All set," he said. "Battery terminal was loose, but I tightened it down and checked your fluids. You're good to go." Elena looked up and her face fell. "Already? Wasn't much wrong with it." "How much do I owe you?" "Nothing." "I have to pay you something." "You made my daughter smile. First real smile I've seen in 2 months. That's worth more than money." Elena stood slowly. She pulled out her wallet, and Marcus caught a glimpse of multiple black credit cards before she carefully selected a 20 and held it out. "Please, let me pay you." Marcus took it only because he needed the $20 for Lily's field trip. "Thanks." "Can I come back?" The question hung between them. Say no, Marcus's brain screamed. She's trouble. You can see it in her eyes. Whatever she's running from, you don't want any part of it. "Yeah," his mouth said. "We're here Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. "Tomorrow." "Tomorrow's fine." Elena pulled on her helmet. Through the visor, her eyes met his. "Thank you, Marcus, for more than just the bike." She rode away into the rain, and Marcus stood watching until her taillights disappeared around the corner onto Burnside. "I like her," Lily announced. "Don't get attached, baby. She's just passing through." "How do you know, because people like her don't stay in places like this." But Marcus was wrong. Elena came back the next day at noon, carrying 2 coffees from Stumptown, the fancy place 3 blocks over. She handed him one without a word. He took a sip. Black 1 sugar. Exactly how he liked it. "How'd you know? You strike me as a 1 sugar guy." She stayed for 2 hours, sitting on an overturned milk crate, watching him work on a Ducati that had been sitting in his garage for 3 weeks. She asked questions. Good questions. About compression ratios and timing chains and why synthetic oil was better than conventional. "You really want to learn this stuff?" he asked. "I want to learn everything." "Why?" "Because for the first time in 20 years, I'm doing something just because I want to, not because I have to." She came back the next day, and the next, and the next. By the end of the first week, she knew the names of his regular customers. She'd memorized where he kept the metric versus standard sockets. She'd learned to make coffee the way Mr. Patterson liked it, 3 sugars, splash of milk, microwaved for exactly 30 seconds. "You're good at this," Marcus said on Friday afternoon. "At making coffee, at everything. You pick things up fast, too fast." Elena's hands stilled on the parts catalog she'd been organizing. "I've always been a quick learner." "What did you do before you were just Elena on a Harley?" "I solved problems, big complicated problems. I was good at it. So good that I forgot how to do anything else." "Like what?" "Like be a person instead of a machine." That night after Elena left and Lily was in bed, Marcus sat at his kitchen table with a beer and Sarah's photo, the photo he'd finally stopped crying over 6 months ago. "Met someone," he whispered to her smiling face. "Don't worry, she's just passing through, but she's got Lily laughing again, and me. I don't know, I felt something today, just for a second, and then I felt guilty for feeling it." Sarah smiled back at him, frozen at 31, her whole life ahead of her until a drunk driver took it all away. "I'm not replacing you," Marcus said. "I could never replace you, but I'm so damn tired of being alone." The photo didn't answer. It never did. The second week, everything shifted. Elena showed up Monday morning with a proposition. "Teach me. Really teach me. I want to learn how to fix bikes." "Why?" "Because I need to do something with my hands. Something real. I've spent 20 years working in the abstract. I want to create something tangible. So Marcus taught her. He showed her how to change oil, how to check valve clearances, how to read a spark plug, to diagnose engine problems. Elena threw herself into it with an intensity that bordered on obsessive. She bought her own tools, expensive ones, from the Snap-on truck that came by on Tuesdays. She watched YouTube videos at night and came in the next morning asking questions that proved she'd been studying. "You don't do anything halfway, do you?" Marcus asked. "Never have." "That served you well in your old life." "It made me successful. It also made me miserable. And now? Now I'm covered in grease and my back hurts, and I've never been happier." The truth in her voice made Marcus's chest ache. Wednesday afternoon, Lily's bus was late. Elena helped Marcus close up the garage, and when his daughter finally arrived, she ran straight to Elena instead of him. "Elena, guess what I got picked to play Dorothy in the school play?" Elena scooped her up like it was the most natural thing in the world. "That's amazing. You're going to be the best Dorothy ever. Will you help me practice my lines? Every single day." Marcus watched them, this stranger and his daughter, and felt something crack open inside his chest. Something that had been sealed shut since Sarah died. That night, Elena stayed for dinner. It wasn't planned. Lily begged, and Marcus was too tired to say no, and suddenly there were 3 of them around his tiny kitchen table eating spaghetti with meat sauce and garlic bread from the Safeway bakery. "Your apartment's really small," Lily announced with 7-year-old bluntness. "Lily!" Marcus's face burned. Elena laughed. "It is pretty small, but it's cozy. I like cozy." "Where do you live?" "Right now, a motel on 82nd Avenue. Marcus nearly choked on his water. 82nd. That's rough. I know, but I've survived worse. "You can't stay there. That area's dangerous." "I'm a big girl, Marcus. I can handle it." "Can you handle the bed bugs? Because that motel definitely has bed bugs." Elena set down her fork. "Okay, yes, the bed bugs are a problem," Lily giggled. "Bed bugs are gross." "Super gross," Elena agreed. Marcus made a decision he'd probably regret. "I have a studio apartment above the garage. Used to rent it out, but the last tenant left 6 months ago. It's small, probably needs cleaning, but it's better than bedbugs." Elena stared at him. "You're offering me an apartment? I'm offering you a place that's not going to give you scabies. Pay me whatever you were paying for the motel. No lease, no commitment. Stay as long as you need to." "Marcus, you don't even know me." "I know enough. You're running from something. You're scared. You're trying to figure out who you are without whatever you left behind. I get that. Been there, still there some days." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you being so kind to me?" "Because someone was kind to me once when I needed it. Paying it forward." That night, Elena moved in. She carried 1 duffel bag up the stairs. 1 bag. For a woman who rode a $15,000 motorcycle and wore designer jeans even when she was trying to dress down. Marcus helped her carry up some spare furniture from his storage unit. A bed frame, a small table, 2 chairs, a lamp Sarah had bought at IKEA that he'd never been able to throw away. "This is perfect," Elena said, looking around the bare studio. "It's exactly what I need. It's pretty basic." "Basic is good. I've had complicated. Complicated almost killed me." She didn't elaborate, and Marcus didn't push. But later that night, after she'd gone upstairs and he was lying in bed staring at the ceiling, he heard her crying. Soft, muffled sobs that she was clearly trying to hide. He almost went to her, almost knocked on her door and asked what was wrong, almost offered comfort the way he would to anyone in pain. But he didn't, because something told him that Elena's pain was too big for him to handle, that whatever she was crying about would swallow him whole if he let it. So he stayed in his bed and listened to her cry and hated himself for not being brave enough to help. The 3rd week, Elena became part of their lives. Not intentionally. It just happened. She was there when Lily got off the bus. She helped with homework while Marcus finished up in the garage. She learned to make grilled cheese the way Lily liked it, extra crispy with the crusts cut off. She taught his daughter chess using a board she bought at Goodwill. "You're good with her, sure," Marcus said one evening. "She's easy to love." Still, not everyone has the patience for a 7-year-old's endless questions. "I like her questions. They're honest. She doesn't have an agenda." "Unlike the people in your old life," Elena looked at him sharply. "You're fishing." "Maybe. You gonna bite?" "What do you want to know?" "Everything. Nothing. I don't know. You're this mystery woman who showed up in my garage and somehow became part of my family in 3 weeks. Part of me wants to know every secret. Part of me is terrified to ask." "Why terrified?" Because I think whatever you're hiding is big enough that it'll make you leave when it comes out. Elena was quiet for a long time. They were sitting on his apartment steps watching Lily chase fireflies in the small yard behind the garage. Summer wasn't quite over yet, and the warm evening air smelled like cut grass and motor oil. "I had a life," Elena finally said. "A big, important, successful life. I built something from nothing. I was good at it. So good that it consumed everything. My time, my energy, my relationships, my health. And one day I woke up and realized I had everything I'd ever worked for, and absolutely nothing that mattered." "So you left?" "So I ran. Got on my bike and drove until I couldn't drive anymore. Ended up here." "What about the people you left behind?" "There was no one, that's the problem. I had colleagues, employees, board members, investors, but no friends, no family, no one who'd miss me if I disappeared." "Someone's looking for you," Marcus said quietly. "I can see it in the way you check your phone and then turn it off. In the way you flinch every time a car slows down outside. Someone wants you back." "They don't want me. They want what I can do for them." "What can you do?" Elena smiled, sad and tired. "Make them money, solve their problems, be the machine they need me to be. But you're not a machine. Took me 40 years to figure that out." Lily ran over, breathless and glowing. "I caught 3 fireflies. Can I keep them?" "You gotta let them go, baby," Marcus said. "They need to be free." Lily carefully opened her cupped hands and watched the fireflies drift away into the darkening sky. "I wish Mommy could see them." Marcus's throat tightened. "She can, baby, from heaven. Do you think she's happy there?" "I think she's happy because she knows you're happy." "I am happy. Elena makes us happy." The simple truth of it hit Marcus like a freight train. His daughter was happy again. Really happy, because of this woman they barely knew. Elena was crying silently, tears streaming down her face. "Elena," Lily climbed into her lap. "Why are you sad?" "I'm not sad, sweetheart. I'm happy. These are happy tears." "That's silly. Tears are for sad. Sometimes when you're so happy you can't hold it all. Inside it comes out as tears." Lily hugged her fiercely. "I'm glad you're here." "Me too, baby. Me too." That night changed something. The 3 of them became a unit. Not a family exactly, but something close. Something that felt right. Elena started working in the garage officially. Marcus put her name on the schedule. She took phone calls, ordered parts, even started handling some of the simpler repairs herself. She was good. Scary good. His business actually improved with her there. "You should be running your own shop," he told her on Thursday. "I'm happy right where I am." "You're too talented to be my assistant." "Maybe I don't want to be talented anymore. Maybe I just want to be useful." Friday afternoon, old Mr. Patterson came in to pick up his Honda. He'd been Marcus's customer for 5 years, ever since Sarah died. "That the new helper?" he asked, watching Elena adjust the idle on a Yamaha. "Yeah, Elena." "She's good and easy on the eyes, if you don't mind me saying." "Mr. Patterson, your Sarah would want you to be happy, son. She told me that herself right before she died. Said if anything happened to her, you needed to promise not to shut down, not to stop living." Marcus's vision blurred. "She said that, in this very garage. Said you had too much love in you to waste it on grief. Said Lily needed a dad who remembered how to smile." Mr. Patterson clapped him on the shoulder. "I see you smiling these days. First time in 3 years. That woman's good for you." After he left, Marcus found himself watching Elena work. The way she bit her lip when she concentrated. The way she pushed her hair back with greasy hands and left smudges on her face. The way she high-fived Lily when she got a math problem right. He was falling for her. No, that wasn't quite right. He'd already fallen. The 4th week, Elena showed him who she really was, or part of it anyway. She'd been reorganizing his parts inventory, something he'd been meaning to do for 2 years. When he came in Monday morning, she had everything color-coded, cataloged, and entered into a database on her laptop. "This is incredible," Marcus breathed. "This must have taken you all weekend." "I like organizing things. It's soothing." "Elena, this is professional-level work. The kind of system a big company would use." She didn't look up. "I might have some experience with that." "What kind of experience?" "The kind I left behind." He wanted to push, but something stopped him. Maybe because he was scared of the answer. Maybe because he liked the fantasy of Elena as just Elena, not Elena, plus whatever complicated past she was hiding. Tuesday, she negotiated with their parts supplier and got them a 30% discount plus free shipping. How'd you do that? Marcus asked, stunned. I'm good at reading people. I could tell he wanted to say yes, he just needed a reason, so I gave him one. What reason? I told him we were a small business trying to compete with the big chains. I appealed to his sense of loyalty to independent shops, and then I mentioned that his competitor had offered us a better deal. They didn't offer us anything. He doesn't know that. Marcus laughed despite himself. You're ruthless. I'm practical. There's a difference. Wednesday, she completely restructured how he handled invoicing and turbo and discovered he'd been undercharging for labor by about 40%. You're losing money on every job, she told him. I can't charge more. People will go somewhere else. No, they won't. You're good, Marcus. Better than good. And you're fast. You should be charging premium rates. These are my neighbors, my community. I can't price gouge them. It's not price gouging if you're charging what you're worth. Look. She showed him a spreadsheet she'd built. If you raise your labor rate by just 30%, you'll make an extra $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. That's Lily's college fund. That's savings. That's not worrying about rent. The numbers made Marcus dizzy. You did all this in one night. I couldn't sleep. Elena, who are you? She met his eyes. Someone who's very good at making money, and someone who's trying to learn that money isn't everything. That night, Marcus raised his rates. The next day, he made $800 on 3 jobs that would have netted him $500 before. Not a single customer complained. You were right, he told Elena. I usually am. About business anyway. What about everything else? Everything else I'm terrible at. That's why I'm here. Friday evening after they closed the garage, Elena cooked dinner. Real cooking, not the boxed spaghetti Marcus usually made. Some kind of pasta dish with fresh vegetables and herbs she'd bought at the farmer's market. Where'd you learn to cook? Lily asked, twirling noodles on her fork. My grandmother. She was from Spain. She said cooking was how you showed love when you didn't have the words. Do you love us? Lily asked with devastating innocence. Elena's hand trembled on her wine glass. Yes, I do. Good. We love you too. Right, Daddy? Marcus's heart stopped. Every eye turned to him. Elena looked terrified. Lily looked expectant. Yeah, he managed. Yeah, we do. Elena excused herself quickly, went upstairs to her studio. Marcus could hear her pacing, could hear her on the phone speaking rapidly in Spanish, could hear the barely controlled panic in her voice. An hour later, she came back down. Marcus, can we talk? They sat on his couch after Lily was in bed. Elena's hands were shaking. I need to tell you something about who I am, about what I left behind. Okay? But I'm scared. I'm scared that when I tell you, you'll look at me differently, that this will end, and I'm not ready for this to end. Marcus took her hand. Elena, whatever it is. Her phone rang. It had been on silent for 4 weeks, but this time it didn't just vibrate. It rang, loud and shrill and insistent. Elena stared at it like it was a bomb. The caller ID flashed David Chen, Vasquez Tech Emergency. Marcus's stomach dropped. Vasquez Tech. Elena's face went white. As in Vasquez Tech, the software company, the one that's worth like $50 billion? She didn't answer. Didn't have to. Oh my God. Marcus stood up, backing away. Oh my God, you're Elena Vasquez. The Elena Vasquez. The CEO who disappeared 2 months ago. The woman the entire business world is looking for. Marcus, you're a billionaire. Technically, but you're a goddamn billionaire who's been living in my garage learning to change oil-eating spaghetti with my daughter. Please let me explain. The phone kept ringing. Answer it. Marcus said, his voice hollow. Marcus, answer it. Elena answered on speaker. This is Elena. Thank God, a man's voice frantic. Ms. Vasquez, where are you? The board is threatening a vote of no confidence. The stock is down 43%. We have congressional hearings in 2 weeks about the AI ethics scandal, and you're the only one who can testify. You need to come back, now. I'm not coming back, David. The company is imploding without you. Then let it implode. You built this. Everything you worked for is falling apart. Good. Maybe it should fall apart. Maybe I built something that shouldn't exist. Elena, please. I said no. She hung up. The silence was deafening. Marcus stared at her. Billionaire? You're an actual billionaire. Yes. Wow. And you've been pretending to be some lost woman on a Harley for 4 weeks. I wasn't pretending. This is the realest I've been in 20 years. You lied to me, to Lily. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing. Marcus was shaking now. What was this to you? Some kind of experiment? Let's see how the poor people live. Slum it for a few weeks before you go back to your penthouse. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Because from where I'm standing, you've been playing house with us while your real life fell apart. And now you're going to leave, and my daughter is going to be heartbroken, and I'm going to... His voice cracked. I let myself feel something for you. After 3 years, I finally let myself feel something, and you're not even real. I am real, Elena was crying now. This is the only real thing in my life. That company, that money, those people, none of it was real. But this you, Lily, this garage, this life, this is the first real thing I've had since I was 20 years old. But you're still leaving. I don't know. Yes, you do. Your phone's going to keep ringing. Your board is going to keep calling. Eventually you'll go back because that's who you are. You're Elena Vasquez, billionaire CEO, not Elena, the woman who makes grilled cheese and braids hair. I can be both. No, you can't. I'm a mechanic who makes $38,000 a year on a good year. You run a company worth billions. We don't live in the same world. We never did. Elena grabbed his arms. I love you. I love Lily. I fell in love with this life. That's not fake. But it's not real either. You can't stay here. Your real life is out there. He pointed toward the window. And eventually you're going to have to go back to it. What if I don't want to? What if you don't have a choice? Elena's phone buzzed. 23 new messages. 15 missed calls. A text from someone named David, board meeting in 48 hours. If you're not there, they're voting you out. Everything you built will be gone. She looked at the phone, at Marcus, at the photo of Sarah on the wall. Pack your things, Marcus said quietly. Tonight, I want you gone before Lily wakes up. Marcus, please. I can't do this. I can't let Lily get more attached and then watch you leave. It's better this way. Clean break. There's no such thing as a clean break. Not for me, not anymore. Then it's a messy break, but it's still a break. Elena stood there for a long moment, tears streaming down her face. Then she turned and walked up the stairs to her studio. Marcus listened to her pack, listened to her cry, listened to the sounds of his heart breaking all over again. At 2 a.m, he heard the Harley's engine start. He didn't go to the window, didn't watch her leave, couldn't bear to see her ride away. But he heard it. That distinctive rumble of the street bob pulling out of the driveway and disappearing into the Portland night. And just like that, she was gone. Marcus sat in the dark garage until dawn, surrounded by motorcycles and oil stains and the ghost of Elena's laughter. Lily found him there at 6:30, still in yesterday's clothes, staring at nothing. Where's Elena? She had to go, baby. When's she coming back? Marcus pulled his daughter into his arms and held her while she cried. I don't know, maybe never. But she loves us. I know, but sometimes love isn't enough. That's stupid. Love should always be enough. Out of the mouths of babes. That morning, Marcus opened the garage like he did every day. He worked on Mr. Patterson's Honda. He fixed Mrs. Chen's Vespa. He changed oil and adjusted carburetors and rebuilt an engine that had seized up. And he didn't think about Elena, except he did. Every single second. He thought about her when he reached for a tool and it was exactly where she'd organized it to be. He thought about her when the phone rang and he expected to hear her voice answering. He thought about her when Lily came home from school and didn't run to show Elena her homework first. That night, he climbed the stairs to her studio. It was empty, completely empty, like she'd never been there at all. Except for one thing. On the small table, she'd left an envelope. Inside was a check for $10,000 and a note in neat handwriting for Lily's field trip and her ballet shoes and everything else she needs. Thank you for showing me what matters. I'm sorry I wasn't brave enough to stay. Marcus tore up the check, but he kept the note. 3 weeks passed. Marcus went through the motions, worked, parented, survived, pretended he was okay. Lily stopped asking when Elena was coming back, started asking if Daddy was sad again like after Mommy died. I'm fine, baby. You're lying. Yeah, I am. On Tuesday of the 4th week, Marcus got a phone call that changed everything. Lily's school. She'd been hit by a car in the crosswalk. The driver ran a red light. She was in the ICU at OHSU. Marcus's world ended for the second time. He raced to the hospital, left the garage unlocked, left everything behind. Nothing mattered except his daughter. She was so small in that hospital bed. Machines beeping, tubes everywhere, a ventilator breathing for her because her lungs had collapsed from the impact. Mr. Walsh. A doctor in scrubs. Her face grave. Your daughter has severe internal injuries. We need to operate immediately. The damage to her spleen, liver, and kidneys is extensive. Without surgery in the next few hours, she won't make it. Do it, whatever it takes. Mr. Walsh, the surgery will cost approximately $300,000. Your insurance will cover some of it, but you'll be responsible for at least $60,000 up front before we can proceed. Marcus's vision tunneled. I don't have $60,000. Then I'm sorry, without payment authorization, my daughter is dying and you're telling me you won't save her because I'm poor. It's hospital policy. I'm truly sorry. Marcus sank into a chair outside the ICU, called everyone he knew. His brother in Seattle said he could send $3,000. Mr. Patterson offered $5,000. Mrs. Chen started a GoFundMe. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. He was going to lose Lily, just like he'd lost Sarah, and there was nothing he could do. At 8 o'clock that evening, Marcus heard running footsteps in the hospital corridor. He looked up. Elena. She was there still in her riding gear helmet, in one hand, tears streaming down her face. Where is she? Marcus couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't process that Elena Vasquez was standing in front of him in a Portland hospital corridor, looking like she'd ridden through hell to get there. How did you know? His voice came out broken. Mr. Patterson called me. I gave him my number before I left, just in case. Elena's eyes were wild, desperate. Where is she, Marcus? Where's Lily? ICU, room 347, but they won't operate. I don't have the money, and they won't. Elena was already running. Marcus chased after her, his legs wood in his mind, unable to catch up with what was happening. They burst through the ICU doors together. A nurse tried to stop them, but Elena pushed past like a force of nature. Lily lay in the bed so pale she looked like a ghost. The ventilator hissed. Monitors beeped. Blood transfusion bags hung from poles. Elena made a sound Marcus had never heard a human make. Pure anguish. Oh God, baby, I'm here. I'm here now. Elena grabbed Lily's small hand, careful of the IV lines. You hold on, you hear me. You hold on because I just found you and I'm not losing you. Ma'am, you need to leave. A nurse appeared. Get the surgeon, now. We can't operate without... I said get the surgeon now. Elena's voice cracked like a whip, the CEO voice, the voice that commanded boardrooms and built empires. I'll have $75,000 wired to this hospital's account in the next 10 minutes. Get the surgical team ready. Move. The nurse ran. Elena turned to Marcus. Mascara streaked her face. Her hands shook. I need your bank information. I'm wiring you money. Enough for the surgery, the hospital stay, everything. Don't argue with me. Don't you dare argue with me right now. Elena, she's not dying because of money. I have money. More money than God. And it's going to save her life. That's the only thing that matters. A doctor rushed in, the same one from before. Ms. Vasquez, Elena Vasquez, from Vasquez Tech. Yes. How fast can you operate? The surgical team can be ready in 20 minutes if nothing. I'm transferring $100,000 right now. 50 for the surgery, 50 for whatever comes after. Do it. Elena pulled out her phone, made 3 calls in rapid-fire Spanish. Marcus heard numbers, heard account information, heard Elena Vasquez, the billionaire CEO, doing what she did best, solving impossible problems with terrifying efficiency. 7 minutes later, the hospital's financial department confirmed the transfer. 10 minutes after that, they were wheeling Lily toward surgery. Elena held Marcus as they watched their little girl disappear through double doors. She's going to make it. She has to make it. Why did you come back? Marcus whispered. Because I love her. Because I love you. Because the second I rode away from Portland, I knew I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. But your company, huh? To hell with my company. To hell with all of it. I thought I left because I was scared of you finding out who I really was. But the truth is, I was more scared of admitting that I'd rather be in a garage in Portland than running an empire. I'd rather change oil and help with homework and be part of a family than be Elena Vasquez billionaire. But I was too much of a coward to admit it. You're here now. I should have been here all along. They sat in the surgical waiting room for 6 hours. Elena never let go of Marcus's hand. Other people came, Mr. Patterson, Mrs. Chen neighbors from the block, Lily's teacher. They brought coffee and food nobody ate. They whispered prayers. They waited. At 2 a.m, the surgeon emerged. Marcus stood so fast he almost fell. Elena caught him. The surgery was successful, the doctor said. We repaired the damage to her spleen and liver. Her kidneys were bruised but functional. She's stable. She's going to make it. Marcus's knees gave out. Elena held him up, held him together while he sobbed into her shoulder. "Can we see her?" Elena asked. "She's in recovery. She'll be moved to pediatric ICU in about an hour. You can see her then." When they finally got to see Lily, she was still unconscious, but breathing on her own. No more ventilator, just oxygen through a nasal cannula. Her color was better. She looked like she was sleeping instead of dying. Elena sat beside the bed and took Lily's hand. "Hey, beautiful girl, it's Elena. I came back. I'm so sorry I left. I'm so sorry I wasn't there when this happened. But I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. You hear me? I'm staying." "You don't have to," Marcus said quietly. "You paid for the surgery. That's more than I'm staying. Not because I paid for anything. I'm staying because this is where I belong. Your company. I quit. Sent my resignation letter 3 hours ago from the parking lot. Effective immediately. My CFO can handle the transition. The board will probably throw a party." Marcus stared at her. "You quit your company, your $50 billion company." "It was never worth $50 billion to me. It was just the thing I did because I didn't know how to do anything else. But I know how to be here. I know how to love you and Lily. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life if you'll let me." "Elena, you can't just throw away everything you built. Watch me. I already did." "But, Marcus, stop. Please, just stop. I spent 20 years building something that meant nothing. I spent 4 weeks being part of something that meant everything. There's no comparison. There's no choice. I choose this. I choose you. I choose Lily. I choose the garage and grilled cheese sandwiches and helping with math homework. I choose being Elena instead of Elena Vasquez. Please, let me choose this." Marcus looked at her, this woman who'd ridden away from billions of dollars to be here, who'd given up an empire to sit in a hospital room holding his daughter's hand. "You're insane." "Probably. You're going to regret this." "Never." "You're..." His voice broke. "You're the bravest person I've ever met." Elena smiled through her tears. "I'm terrified. But I'm done running. This is my stand." Lily's eyes fluttered open. "Daddy?" Her voice was so small, so weak. Marcus was there instantly. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." "Where am I?" "Hospital. You were in an accident. But you're okay now. You're going to be okay." Lily's eyes found Elena. "You came back." "I came back." "I thought you left forever." "So did I, but I was wrong. This is forever. If you'll have me." "Promise?" "Promise." Lily's eyes drifted shut again, but she was smiling. "Good. Love you, Elena." "Love you too, beautiful girl." Marcus and Elena sat there in the dark hospital room watching Lily sleep, holding on to each other like lifelines. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. Now, I figure out how to be a normal person. I get a job, I help in the garage, I live in that studio apartment and learn to be someone other than a CEO. You'll go crazy. You're used to running things, making decisions, being in control. Maybe. Or maybe I'll finally learn to just be. What about money? You can't live on air. Elena laughed softly. Marcus, I have a personal net worth of about $8 billion. Even if I never work another day, I couldn't spend it all if I tried. Money isn't the issue. $8 billion. Marcus's head spun. That's not real. That can't be real. It's very real and completely meaningless. You know what I spent most of it on? A penthouse I never lived in, an art collection I never looked at, donations to causes I never had time to care about. Things, just things. I had everything and nothing all at once. And now? Now I have you and Lily and a studio apartment with furniture from IKEA, and I've never been richer. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to say she was being impulsive, that she'd regret walking away from everything she'd built. But looking at her face peaceful for the first time since he'd met her, he couldn't. Okay, he said simply. Okay? Okay, stay, be part of this, be part of us, but on one condition. Anything. You don't get to pay for everything. I'm still Lily's father. I still support my family. The surgery that was an emergency, I'm grateful, more grateful than I can ever express. But moving forward, we do this together, as equals. Marcus, you make $38,000 a year and I have $8 billion. We're not equals. In money, no. In this relationship, yes. If you're staying as my partner, not my benefactor. I need you to understand that. Elena was quiet for a long moment. You're asking me to let you struggle financially when I could make all your problems disappear with a phone call. Yes. That's going to be very hard for me. I'm a problem solver. It's what I do. Then learn to do something else. Learn to let me be a man who takes care of his family. Our family, Elena corrected. If I'm staying, she's our family now. The word hit Marcus like a fist to the chest. Our family. Sarah had been gone for 3 years, and he'd gotten used to thinking of himself and Lily as a unit of two. Adding a third felt like betraying Sarah's memory, but Sarah's voice echoed in his head, the conversation Mr. Patterson had told him about. You have too much love in you to waste it on grief. Our family, Marcus agreed, and something broke open in his chest. They spent the night in Lily's room. Nurses came and went, checking vitals, adjusting medications. Elena never left Lily's bedside. Marcus dozed in an uncomfortable chair and woke up every hour to make sure his daughter was still breathing. At dawn, Lily woke up more alert. Does it hurt, baby? Marcus asked. Everything hurts, but not too bad. Lily looked at Elena. You really came back. Told you I would. Daddy said you might never come back. He was sad. I was very sad too. Saddest I've ever been. But then I realized something important. You know what? What? Home isn't a place, it's people, and you and your dad are my home now. What about your other home, the big fancy one? Didn't have one, had a building I slept in sometimes, but it was never home. This is home. Elena gestured around the hospital room. Anywhere you two are is home. Lily thought about this seriously. Can you still be rich and be with us? Marcus tensed. Elena smiled. Yes, I can still be rich, but the money doesn't matter much. What matters is that I'm here. That I get to watch you grow up. That I get to help your dad in the garage. That I get to be part of your family. Like a mom. The question hung in the air. Elena's eyes filled with tears. Would you want that? Would you want me to be like a mom? I already have a mom in heaven, but she's been gone a long time, and I think she'd like you. I think she'd want you to be here. Marcus had to leave the room. Had to step into the hallway and put his back against the wall and try to breathe through the tsunami of emotion. Sarah would like Elena. She would. Sarah had always said she wanted Marcus to find happiness again. Had made him promise not to be alone forever. But hearing Lily say it out loud, hearing his daughter give another woman permission to fill that role, it was too much. Elena found him 5 minutes later. I shouldn't have said that to her, Elena said. About being like a mom. That was too much, too fast. No, it was perfect. It was exactly what she needed to hear. Then why are you crying? Because I feel like I'm betraying Sarah. Because I feel guilty for being happy. Because I'm terrified that I'm going to lose you the way I lost her, and I don't think I'd survive it twice. Elena took his face in her hands. Listen to me. You're not betraying anyone. You're living. You're choosing to be happy instead of just surviving. That's not betrayal. That's courage. What if something happens to you? What if nothing happens? What if we get 50 years together? What if we get to grow old and watch Lily graduate college and have kids of her own? What if we get everything? I'm scared to hope for that. Me too, but I'm more scared of walking away and spending the rest of my life wondering what if. I'd rather have 1 day with you and Lily than 1,000 days of my old life. Marcus kissed her. Right there in the hospital corridor with nurses walking by and machines beeping and the smell of antiseptic everywhere. He kissed her like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. When they broke apart, Elena was smiling. So that's a yes, I can stay. On one condition. Another condition. You help me tell Lily about her mother, about who Sarah was. I don't want her to forget. I would never ask her to forget. Sarah's part of who she is. I'm not replacing anyone. I'm just adding to what's already there. Okay then, stay. Be part of this messy, complicated, beautiful thing we're building. Okay? They went back to Lily's room together. The morning sun was streaming through the windows. Lily was eating Jell-O and watching cartoons on the TV. She looked up when they entered. Are you guys going to kiss again? Because I saw that. The nurse said you were being gross. Marcus laughed. Really laughed for the first time in 3 weeks. Yeah, baby, we're probably going to kiss again. Is that okay with you? I guess, as long as you don't do it too much. That's weird. Deal. Lily turned to Elena. Are you going to live with us now for real this time? If that's okay with you, can you still help me with my math homework? Every single day. Can you teach me to ride a motorcycle when I'm older? Marcus opened his mouth to say absolutely not, but Elena beat him to it. When you're 16 and your dad says it's okay, can you make those good pancakes again, the ones with the blueberries? Whenever you want. Then okay, you can stay. As if it had ever been a question. As if this 7-year-old girl hadn't just given her blessing to completely reshape their family. But that's how it worked with kids. They were adaptable, resilient, ready to love if you gave them half a reason. Lily stayed in the hospital for 8 more days. Elena was there every single day from the moment visiting hours started until security kicked them out at night. She brought books and puzzles and helped Lily do her schoolwork so she wouldn't fall behind. She learned to change bandages and monitor drainage tubes. She slept in the chair beside Lily's bed even though Marcus told her she could go home and rest. "This is home," Elena kept saying, "wherever you two are." On day 4, a man in an expensive suit showed up asking for Elena Vasquez. "I'm David Chen, her former CFO," he told Marcus in the waiting room. "I need to speak with her about the company transition. She doesn't want to see you. The board needs her to sign paperwork. There are legal issues with her sudden resignation. She can't just walk away. Watch her." But Elena came out anyway. "David, what do you want?" "To talk sense into you. Elena, what are you doing? You built this company from nothing. It's your legacy." "My legacy is in a hospital bed recovering from surgery. Everything else is just business." "Just business, Vasquez Tech is something I don't care about anymore. I'm done, David. Truly done. Have the lawyers send whatever I need to sign. I'll sign it. But I'm not coming back. Not for meetings, not for press conferences, not for anything." "You're throwing away everything." "No, I'm finally keeping what matters." David looked at Marcus like he was seeing him for the first time. "You're the mechanic, the one she's been living with." "That's right." "What did you do to her? How did you brainwash the smartest woman I know into giving up billions of dollars?" Marcus smiled. "I didn't do anything. I just loved her. Turns out that was enough." David left, shaking his head. That night, Elena's resignation hit the news. "Billionaire CEO Elena Vasquez walks away from tech empire," screamed the headlines. The business channels couldn't stop talking about it. They called it a mental breakdown, a crisis, the biggest mistake in corporate history. Elena turned off the TV and didn't look back. On day 9, Lily was discharged. They brought her home to the apartment above the garage. Elena had spent the previous night cleaning and decorating, hanging fairy lights and putting up posters of motorcycles and butterflies. She'd bought a new comforter for Lily's bed, purple with stars, Lily's favorite. "You did all this?" Lily looked around in wonder. "I wanted you to have a proper welcome home." "This is the best room ever." Marcus watched Elena tuck Lily into bed that first night home, watched her read a story and sing a song and kiss Lily's forehead goodnight, watched her become a mother right before his eyes. Later, when Lily was asleep, they sat on Marcus's couch drinking beer. "I talked to a lawyer today," Elena said, "about adoption." Marcus almost dropped his beer. "Adoption. I want to adopt Lily, officially, legally, make her mine in every way that matters, if that's okay with you." "Elena, we've been together for like 2 months total. That's fast, really fast." "I know, and we can wait if you want, but I also know that I'm not going anywhere. That I want to be her mother in every sense of the word, and I want it to be legal. I want her to know that she's stuck with me forever." "What about us getting married?" Elena looked at him. "Is that a proposal?" "No, maybe, I don't know. I'm saying we should probably do things in order, right? Get married first, then adoption. Or we could do both, or neither. I don't need a piece of paper to tell me we're a family. I already know. But I want the paper. I want to marry you, Elena. I want Lily to have your last name if that's what you want. I want all of it. I'm just scared." "Of what?" "Of losing you, of this being too good to be true, of waking up and finding out it was all a dream." Elena took his hand. "Then wake up scared every day and choose to believe anyway. That's what I'm doing. I'm terrified, but I'm done letting fear make my decisions." "When did you get so wise?" "About 6 weeks ago in a garage in southeast Portland. A mechanic taught me." Marcus kissed her, slow and deep and full of promise. "I love you," he said. "I love you too. So we're really doing this, getting married, becoming a family, unless you change your mind in the next 30 seconds. "Not changing my mind." "Good, neither am I." They sat there in the dark, holding each other, listening to Lily's soft breathing from the next room. 3 broken people who'd somehow found a way to make each other whole. 2 weeks later, Elena officially became a resident of Oregon. She got a driver's license with her Portland address, registered to vote, opened a checking account at the local credit union, did all the things that normal people do when they plant roots. She also started working in the garage officially, not as help, as a partner. Marcus redid the sign Walsh and Vasquez Motorcycle Repair. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Using your real name, people are going to figure out who you are. Let them. I'm done hiding. This is who I am now." Sining. And people did figure it out. The story made regional news. Billionaire CEO becomes small business owner in Portland. They got customers who came just to see if it was really her. Elena handled it with grace, changing their oil and chatting about compression ratios like she'd been doing it her whole life. Some of the old customers were weird about it at first. Mr. Patterson pulled Marcus aside. "You sure about being in business with her? What happens when she gets bored and leaves?" "She's not leaving." "How do you know?" "Because I know. Same way I knew Sarah was the one 30 seconds after meeting her. You just know." Mr. Patterson nodded slowly. "Fair enough. She makes good coffee. I'll give her that." 1 month after Lily came home from the hospital, Marcus took Elena to Sarah's grave. "I want you to meet her, Hag," he said. They stood in front of the headstone. Sarah Walsh, beloved wife and mother. Born 1989, died 2022. The dates that had defined Marcus's life for 3 years. "Hi, Sarah," Elena said softly. "I'm Elena. I love your husband and your daughter more than I knew it was possible to love anyone. I'm not trying to replace you. I could never replace you, but I promise I'll take care of them. I promise I'll be worthy of the gift they are, and I promise that Lily will always know who you were and how much you loved her. Thank you for raising such an incredible daughter. Thank you for loving Marcus so well that he learned how to love again. I hope wherever you are, you're at peace. I hope you know they're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay." Marcus stood there crying while Elena talked to his dead wife. It should have been weird, should have been wrong, but it felt exactly right. "She would have liked you," he finally said. Yeah, you're both stubborn and brilliant and terrible at asking for help. You would have been friends. I wish I could have known her." "Me too." They stood there until the sun started to set, saying goodbye to the past and hello to the future. That night, Marcus proposed. No ring, no fancy restaurant. Just the two of them on the couch after Lily was asleep, surrounded by motorcycle magazines and empty coffee cups and the comfortable mess of their life. "Marry me," he said. Elena looked at him. "That's it. That's the proposal." "What do you want? A speech? I'm a mechanic, not a poet." "Yes, actually, I want a speech. I want you to tell me why." So Marcus did. "I want to marry you because you came back. Because when everything in your life was screaming at you to stay away, you got on your bike and rode through the night to be here. I want to marry you because you love Lily like she's yours. Because you make terrible jokes and organize my garage, and you're learning to ride a motorcycle even though you're scared of falling. I want to marry you because you walked away from billions of dollars for a life worth living. Because you're brave and stubborn and the best thing that's ever happened to us. Because I love you so much, it scares me. Because I want to spend every day for the rest of my life proving that you made the right choice. So yes, marry me, be my wife, be Lily's mom, be part of this weird, wonderful, impossible thing we're building." Elena was crying. "Yes, God, yes, 1,000 times yes," they told Lily the next morning over pancakes. "Elena and I are getting married," Marcus announced. Lily's eyes went huge. "Really? Really? What do you think about that?" "I think it's about time. I've been waiting forever. When's the wedding?" "We haven't planned that yet." "Can I be the flower girl?" "You're the only flower girl." "Can we have the wedding in the garage with motorcycles?" Marcus looked at Elena. Elena shrugged. "Why not?" "In the garage it is." Marcus agreed. And that's exactly what they did. Planning a wedding in a motorcycle garage turned out to be more complicated than any of them expected. "We need chairs," Elena said, staring at the oil-stained concrete floor. "And we need to move all the bikes. And we need to clean. A lot." "It's a garage," Marcus pointed out. "It's supposed to smell like oil. It's our wedding. It's supposed to smell like flowers." "Can it smell like both?" Lily bounced between them, clutching a notebook where she'd been drawing wedding plans. "I think we should have motorcycle flowers, like flowers shaped like motorcycles. Is that a thing?" "If it's not, we'll make it a thing," Elena promised. They set the date for 6 weeks out, early December, right before the holidays. Small ceremony, just close friends and neighbors. Mr. Patterson would officiate. Turned out he was an ordained minister, something he'd never mentioned in 5 years. Mrs. Chen insisted on catering. The whole block wanted to help. But first, there were other battles to fight. David Chen showed up again 3 days after the engagement, this time with lawyers. "Elena, you need to sign these papers," he said, spreading documents across the small table in her studio apartment. "The board is suing. They're claiming you breached your fiduciary duty by abandoning the company during a crisis." "Let them sue. They're asking for $2 billion in damages." Elena didn't even blink. "Fine, take it. Have all of it. I don't care." "You don't care about $2 billion. Not even a little bit. What else?" David stared at her like she'd grown a second head. "There are also shareholders filing a class action. They claim your resignation tanked the stock price and cost them money." "Also fine, settle with them, whatever they want." "Elena, you're not thinking clearly. You're letting your emotions—" "My emotions are the clearest they've been in 20 years. Sign whatever needs to be signed. Pay whatever needs to be paid. I'm done with all of it." Marcus had been listening from the doorway. "She said she's done. You need to leave." David turned to him. "Do you have any idea what you're costing her? She's throwing away her entire fortune because of you." "No, she's choosing a different kind of fortune, one that actually matters." "You're a mechanic who lives above a garage. What can you possibly offer her that's worth billions of dollars?" "Love, family, a life that means something. Take your pick." David gathered his papers. "You're going to regret this, Elena, both of you." "Probably," Elena agreed, "but not for the reasons you think." After he left, Marcus found Elena sitting on the steps outside, staring at nothing. "You okay?" "I just gave away $2 billion like it was nothing. I should feel something, right? Regret, panic, something." "Do you?" "No, I feel relieved, like I'm finally cutting the last cord tying me to that life." She looked at him. "Dad. Is that crazy?" "Probably, but I'm crazy too, so we match." "What if David's right? What if I regret this someday?" "Then we'll deal with it someday. But today we're planning a wedding in a garage, and that's all that matters." Elena smiled. "A wedding in a garage? My board would be horrified." "Good. Screw your board." "Former board. And yes, screw them." The next challenge came from an unexpected direction: Lily's school. Marcus got called in for a meeting with the principal, Mrs. Davidson, a severe woman who'd never liked him much. She thought single fathers couldn't properly raise daughters. She'd made that clear over the years. "Mr. Walsh, we need to discuss Lily's home situation." Marcus's stomach dropped. "What about it?" "We understand you're engaged to Elena Vasquez, the billionaire CEO. Former CEO, but yes. And she's living with you, above your garage, with Lily." "That's right. What's the problem?" Mrs. Davidson folded her hands. "We have concerns about the appropriateness of this arrangement. A child living with her father and his girlfriend in such close quarters. The school board has questions." "We're getting married in 6 weeks, and Elena's been part of Lily's life for months now. Nevertheless, we think it might be better if Lily stayed with another family member until the wedding, just to maintain propriety." Marcus stood up so fast his chair fell over. "Are you serious? You're suggesting I send my daughter away because I'm engaged?" "We're suggesting that perhaps this situation isn't ideal for a child. This situation is the best thing that's happened to my daughter since her mother died. Elena loves Lily. Lily loves Elena. We're a family, and you don't get to tell me otherwise." "Mr. Walsh, please sit down." "No, I'm done. Lily's happy, healthy, and thriving. Her grades are the best they've been in years." She smiles again. She laughs again. "And if you have a problem with that, then maybe I need to find a different school." "That won't be necessary. We're simply expressing concern." "Express it to someone who cares. I'm taking my daughter home." He pulled Lily out of class and drove straight back to the garage. Elena was under a Honda, her legs sticking out when they arrived. "Why are you home early?" she called out. "School called me in, said our living situation was inappropriate for Lily." Elena rolled out from under the bike, her face smudged with grease. "They said what?" Marcus explained. Elena's expression went from shocked to furious. "They want her to live somewhere else until we're married." "That's what they suggested." "Absolutely not. No way. Over my dead body." Lily tugged on Elena's sleeve. "Does this mean I can't live with you?" "No, baby, it means nothing. You're staying right here with us, always." "But what if the school makes me leave?" Elena crouched down to Lily's level. "Listen to me. No one is taking you anywhere. I don't care what the school says. I don't care what anyone says. You're ours and we're yours, and that's never changing. Promise." "I swear on everything I have. You're stuck with me now." That night, Elena made a phone call. Marcus heard her speaking rapid Spanish in her studio, her voice sharp and commanding. The CEO voice was back. The next morning, a lawyer showed up at the school. By noon, the principal had issued a formal apology. By the end of the week, Mrs. Davidson had quietly resigned. "What did you do?" Marcus asked. Elena shrugged. "Made a few calls, reminded some people that I still have friends in high places, and that I don't tolerate anyone threatening my family." "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did. Nobody messes with our daughter." Our daughter. Elena had started saying it naturally now, like it had always been true. The weeks before the wedding flew by in a blur of preparation and chaos. Elena insisted on keeping her job at the garage even as they planned the ceremony. She changed oil in the morning and picked out flowers in the afternoon. She rebuilt carburetors and tasted wedding cakes. She was trying so hard to be both people, the capable businesswoman, and the woman learning to just be. Sometimes Marcus caught her staring at her phone, scrolling through news about Vasquez Tech. The stock had stabilized. Her former CFO was doing well. The company was surviving without her. "Do you miss it?" he asked one night. "Sometimes, not the stress or the pressure, but the feeling of building something, of solving impossible problems." "You're building something here, with us." "I know, but it's different, smaller." "Is smaller bad?" "No, just different. I spent 20 years thinking bigger was always better. Now I'm learning that sometimes the small things are everything." 3 weeks before the wedding, Elena's mother called. Marcus only knew because he heard Elena speaking Spanish again, but this time her voice was different. Vulnerable. Almost childlike. When she came downstairs an hour later, her eyes were red. "My mother," she said. "She's in Barcelona. She wants to come to the wedding." "That's good, right?" "I haven't seen her in 12 years. We fought when I started the company. She said I was choosing money over family. She was right. So let her come. Let her see what you chose this time. What if she doesn't approve? What if she thinks I'm crazy for giving up everything? Then she's wrong, but I don't think she will. I think she'll see that her daughter finally figured out what matters." Elena's mother, Carmen, arrived 5 days before the wedding. She was small, fierce, with Elena's eyes, and the kind of presence that filled a room. She took one look at the garage at Marcus's tiny apartment at Lily doing homework at the kitchen table and burst into tears. "Mija," she said, pulling Elena into her arms, "you finally came home." "This isn't home, Mama. This is Portland." "Home isn't a place. It's where your heart is. And your heart is finally where it belongs." Carmen stayed in Elena's studio apartment. She cooked Spanish food that made the whole building smell like heaven. She braided Lily's hair and taught her Spanish words. She told Marcus embarrassing stories about Elena as a child. "She was always so serious," Carmen said. "Always working, always studying. I told her Elena life is more than achievements." But she wouldn't listen, not until now. "What changed?" Marcus asked. Carmen looked at him like he was simple. "You changed. You and this beautiful girl. You showed her what she was missing." The night before the wedding, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he was making a huge mistake. Elena had given up so much. What if she woke up in 5 years and realized she'd made the wrong choice? What if she resented him for the life she'd left behind? Someone knocked on his door. Elena stood there in pajamas, her hair a mess. "Can't sleep either." "Nope." "Mind if I come in?" They sat on his bed in the dark, shoulders touching. "I keep thinking about Sarah," Marcus admitted. "About what she'd think of all this, about whether I'm betraying her memory by moving on." "You're not. You're honoring it. She loved you enough to want you to be happy. That's what real love is." "What if I mess this up? What if I'm not enough for you?" "Marcus, look at me." Elena turned to face him. "You're the first person in my entire adult life who wanted me, not what I could do for them. Not my money, not my connections, not my brain, just me. That's everything. I'm scared." "Me too, but I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you." "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from a mechanic in Portland. He taught me that the best things in life can't be bought or built. They can only be found." Marcus kissed her, soft and gentle and full of promise. "Tomorrow," he whispered. "Tomorrow," she agreed. The wedding day arrived cold and clear. December in Portland meant rain usually, but they got lucky. Blue skies and winter sun streaming through the garage windows. They'd transformed the space, moved all the motorcycles to one side and arranged them like an honor guard, hung white lights from the ceiling, put up flowers, real ones, not motorcycle-shaped though Lily had tried. set up chairs borrowed from the church down the street. Lily wore a purple dress and a crown of flowers. She took her flower girl duties very seriously, practicing her walk down the makeshift aisle 50 times. Elena wore a simple white dress she'd bought at a boutique on Hawthorne. Nothing designer, nothing expensive. Just a dress that made her look beautiful and happy and real. Marcus wore his one good suit, the one he'd worn to Sarah's funeral 3 years ago. He'd had it cleaned and it still fit. Carmen helped Elena get ready in the studio apartment. "You're sure about this, mija?" she asked, pinning Elena's hair. "More sure than I've been about anything in my life." "He's a good man, I can see it, but his life is small, simple. You'll have to adjust." "I've been adjusting for months, Mama. This is who I want to be now. And if you miss your old life, then I'll miss it and move on, but I won't regret this. I can't regret choosing love over loneliness." Carmen kissed her daughter's forehead. "Your father would be proud. He always said you needed someone who saw your heart, not your bank account." "I wish he was here." "He is, in here." Carmen touched Elena's chest. "Always." Downstairs, Marcus was panicking. "I can't do this," he told Mr. Patterson. "What am I doing? She's Elena Vasquez. I'm nobody." "Son, stop. You're the man she chose. That makes you somebody." "But, no buts. She walked away from everything for you. The least you can do is show up and say, 'I do.'" The guests started arriving. The whole block came. Mrs. Chen and her family, the regular customers, Lily's teacher, the nice one who wasn't Mrs. Davidson, the mailman, the guy from the coffee shop, people Marcus had known for years, and some he barely knew. They filled the garage with warmth and noise and love. At 3 o'clock, the music started, someone's iPhone playing a simple piano melody through a Bluetooth speaker. Lily walked down the aisle first, tossing rose petals with great seriousness. She took her place at the front and gave Marcus a thumbs up. Then Elena appeared. Marcus forgot how to breathe. She walked toward him alone, no one to give her away because she was giving herself and she was smiling through tears. When she reached him, she took his hands and squeezed tight. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi yourself, Mr. Patterson cleared his throat. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in this garage." That got a laugh. "To witness the union of Marcus Walsh and Elena Vasquez. They've asked to speak their own vows." Marcus pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. His hands shook. "Elena, I'm not good with words. I'm better with engines and wrenches and things I can fix with my hands. But you don't need fixing. You're perfect exactly as you are. You're brave and brilliant, and you make my daughter laugh, and you reorganized my parts inventory." More laughter. "You walked into my garage on a rainy day and you never really left. You became part of us so fast and so completely that I can't remember what life was like before you. I promise to love you every day, to be worthy of the choice you made, to build a life with you that's worth more than all the money in the world. I promise to be your partner, your friend, your home. I promise that wherever you are, I am forever." He folded the paper. Elena was crying. "Your turn," Mr. Patterson said gently. Elena didn't have notes. She just looked at Marcus and spoke from her heart. "Marcus, I spent 40 years building a life that looked successful from the outside and felt empty on the inside. I had everything and nothing. And then I met you and Lily, and suddenly I understood what I'd been missing. You taught me that success isn't measured in dollars or stock prices. It's measured in moments, in laughter around a dinner table, in grease under your fingernails, in a little girl's smile, in feeling like you belong somewhere. You gave me a home when I didn't even know I was homeless. You gave me a family when I'd given up on having one. You gave me a life worth living. I promise to choose you every single day, to never take this for granted, to be the mother Lily deserves and the partner you need. I promise to change oil and fix bikes and make terrible pancakes and love you both with everything I have. You saved me. Now let me spend the rest of my life proving it." There wasn't a dry eye in the garage. "Do you have the rings?" Mr. Patterson asked Lily. She nodded importantly and handed over 2 simple gold bands. Nothing fancy. They'd picked them out together at a pawn shop on 82nd Avenue. "Marcus Walsh, do you take Elena Vasquez to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do." "Elena Vasquez, do you take Marcus Walsh to be your lawfully wedded husband?" "I do." "Then by the power vested in me by the state of Oregon and the Internet Ministry that certified me 15 years ago." Laughter. "I now pronounce you husband and wife. Marcus, kiss your bride before she changes her mind." Marcus pulled Elena close and kissed her while everyone cheered. Lily jumped up and down. Carmen sobbed. Someone started a motorcycle engine and revved it in celebration. It was perfect. It was chaotic. It was exactly right. The reception was potluck in the garage. Well, Chen had made enough Chinese food to feed 50 people. Someone brought beer. Someone else brought champagne that cost more than Marcus made in a month, probably, Elena's doing, though she wouldn't admit it. They didn't have a DJ. They had someone's Spotify playlist. They didn't have a professional photographer. They had everyone's cell phones. They didn't have a fancy cake. They had cupcakes from the Safeway bakery with plastic motorcycles on top. It was the best wedding Marcus had ever been to. Elena danced with Lily, first spinning her around while she giggled. Then she danced with Carmen, the two of them speaking Spanish and crying happy tears. Then finally with Marcus swaying slowly to a country song neither of them knew the words to. "Mrs. Walsh," Marcus said. "I'm keeping Vasquez, actually. Too much paperwork to change it now." "Mrs. Vasquez Walsh. How about just Elena? How about just mine?" "That works too." They danced until Lily fell asleep on a chair. They danced until the neighbors went home. They danced until it was just the two of them and Carmen, who was cleaning up despite their protests. "Go," Carmen said, shooing them away. "Go be married. I'll finish here." They carried Lily upstairs to hers and tucked her into bed. She stirred long enough to mumble "best day ever" before falling back asleep. Marcus and Elena collapsed on their bed now, in their home, in their life. "We did it," Elena said. "We really did. I'm married to a mechanic who lives above a garage. I'm married to a former billionaire CEO who gave up everything to be here. Do you think we're crazy?" "Absolutely, but I wouldn't have it any other way." Elena rolled over to face him. "I don't regret it, any of it. Leaving the company, walking away from the money, all of it. I just want you to know that." "I know, but ask me again in 5 years, in 10, in 20. Make sure you still feel the same way." "I will. Every year on our anniversary, I'll tell you I'd choose you again." "Deal." "Deal." They fell asleep tangled together, two people who'd found each other against all odds, who'd chosen love over everything else, who'd built something real in a garage that smelled like motor oil and dreams. Outside, Portland rain finally started to fall. Inside, a new family slept peacefully. A single dad who'd learned to hope again. A billionaire who'd learned what truly mattered. A little girl who'd gained a mother she didn't know she needed. 3 broken people who'd made each other whole. And in the morning, they'd wake up and start building their life together. One day at a time. One moment at a time. One choice at a time. Choosing love. Choosing family. Choosing what mattered most. That was the real fortune. The one worth more than all the billions in the world. The honeymoon phase lasted exactly 3 weeks. Not because the love faded, but because reality had a way of crashing through even the strongest doors. And reality came knocking on a gray January morning in the form of a process server standing in the garage with a manila envelope. Elena Vasquez. Elena looked up from the Suzuki she was working on. "That's me?" "You've been served." Marcus watched her face go pale as she read the documents. "What is it? A class action lawsuit. Shareholders are suing me for $47 billion. They're claiming my resignation constituted fraud and market manipulation." She laughed, but there was no humor in it. $47 billion. I don't even have that much anymore. Can they do that? They can try. Doesn't mean they'll win. But her hands were shaking. That night, Elena barely touched dinner. Lily noticed first. "Are you sick?" she asked. "No, baby. Just worried about grown-up stuff." "What kind of stuff?" Marcus stepped in. "Remember how Elena used to run a big company? Well, some people from that company are upset she left. They're trying to make problems." "That's dumb. She left because she wanted to be with us. That's a good reason." "I agree. But sometimes grown-ups don't see it that way." After Lily went to bed, Elena sat at the kitchen table staring at the lawsuit papers spread in front of her. "I need to hire lawyers. Good ones. This could drag on for years." "How much will that cost?" "Millions, maybe tens of millions before it's done." Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Do you have that? After everything you gave away?" "I have about $6 billion left. Turns out it's harder to give away money than you'd think. My financial advisors kept stopping me." She looked at him. "I know we agreed to live on what the garage makes. But this is different. This is legal defense. Use whatever you need. I'm not going to let them destroy you because of pride." "It's not just pride. It's principle. We said we were partners. We are partners, which means when one of us has a problem, we both have a problem. This is our problem now." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "I brought this into your life, into Lily's life. What if they come after the garage? What if they try to take everything?" Then we'll fight together. But fighting was easier said than done. The lawyers Elena hired were sharks, expensive, ruthless, and very clear about the stakes. They met in the garage on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 men in suits who looked deeply uncomfortable, surrounded by motorcycles and oil stains. Ms. Vasquez, the plaintiff's case is weak but not frivolous, the lead attorney said. His name was Robert Chen, no relation to David. They're arguing that you knew your resignation would tank the stock and you sold shares beforehand. I didn't sell anything. I haven't touched my shares in 2 years. We know. But they're claiming you had insider knowledge about the company's instability and you abandoned ship before it sank. The company's not sinking. David's doing fine. The stock is down 38% since you left. That's billions in market cap gone. Shareholders are angry. They want someone to blame. Marcus watched Elena's face go hard. The CEO was back. So fight it. That's what I'm paying you for. We will, but you need to understand this will be public, messy. The media will dig into everything. Your life here in Portland, your relationship with Mr. Walsh, your stepdaughter. Daughter, Elena corrected sharply. She's my daughter. The adoption went through last week. Congratulations, but that's exactly what I mean. They'll paint you as someone who had a mental breakdown, who abandoned her responsibilities for a... He glanced at Marcus. For a new relationship. They'll try to make you look unstable. Let them. I know who I am now. That's worth more than their opinions. After the lawyers left, Marcus found Elena sitting on the garage steps, her head in her hands. You okay? No, this is going to get ugly. They're going to drag you and Lily through the mud because of me. We can handle it. Can you? Can Lily? She's 8 years old, Marcus. What happens when kids at school start saying things when their parents talk? Then we deal with it, as a family. I should have stayed away. I should have known my past would catch up. Marcus sat beside her. Stop. You're not allowed to regret this. Not now, not ever. We made our choice, all of us, and we don't get to take it back just because it gets hard. What if I lose everything? What if they take it all? Then we'll have what we started with. This garage, each other. That's enough. Elena leaned against him. When did you become the wise one? About 3 months ago, a billionaire CEO taught me. The lawsuit hit the news 2 days later. Former tech CEO Elena Vasquez faces billions in shareholder lawsuit. The headlines were brutal, the articles worse. Sources say Vasquez abandoned her company for a relationship with a motorcycle mechanic in Portland. Friends claim Vasquez had a mental breakdown and made irrational decisions. Is this the end of Elena Vasquez's empire? Marcus stopped reading after the 3rd article. Elena read them all. They're calling me unstable, she said that night. They're saying I'm not fit to run a company, that I threw away my legacy for a fling. Do you care what they think? I shouldn't, but I do. I spent 20 years building a reputation, and they're destroying it in days. Your reputation with people who never knew you, who only saw what you could do for them. Screw them. Easy for you to say. You're not the one they're calling crazy. No, they're calling me the mechanic who seduced a billionaire. We both look bad. Welcome to the club. Elena laughed despite herself. We're a mess. We're a beautiful mess. But the mess got messier. The media found the garage. Reporters started showing up asking questions. Customers got harassed. Someone took pictures of Lily at school and put them online. The principal called the new one, who was better than Mrs. Davidson, but still worried. Lily's being affected by all this attention, she said. Other children are asking questions. Parents are concerned. Concerned about what? Marcus asked. About the publicity, about whether Lily's safe, about whether this environment is healthy for children. Marcus's temper flared. My daughter is safe. She's loved. She's happy. That's all that matters. I understand, but we need to consider the other students too. Are you asking me to pull her out of school? I'm suggesting it might be best, just until this media attention dies down. Marcus hung up and told Elena. She went white. They want to take her out of school because of me, because I'm too much trouble. No, they want to take her out because people are idiots and the media is predatory. That's not on you. It is on me. Everything happening to you and Lily is because I brought my chaos into your lives. Elena? No, listen, maybe they're right. Maybe I did have a breakdown. Maybe I made this decision from a place of desperation and now you're paying the price. Stop it. Right now, you don't get to do this. You don't get to second guess everything because things got hard. What if I'm wrong? What if leaving was the biggest mistake of my life and I dragged you down with me? Marcus grabbed her shoulders. Look at me. You're not wrong. This is hard, yes, but it's worth it. We're worth it. And if you're having doubts, if you want to go back, then say it. But don't hide behind what-ifs and maybes. I don't want to go back. Then stop acting like you do. It was the first real fight they'd had. Elena went upstairs to her studio and didn't come down for hours. Marcus threw himself into work, rebuilding an engine with more force than necessary. Lily sat in the corner doing homework, too quiet, sensing the tension. Are you and Elena fighting? She asked finally. Yeah, baby, we are. Is she going to leave? No, absolutely not. We're just figuring some stuff out. Mommy used to say that fighting means you care. She said the only people who don't fight are people who gave up. Marcus's throat tightened. Your mommy was right. So you and Elena care, more than anything. Then you'll figure it out. Out of the mouths of babes. That night, Marcus climbed the stairs to Elena's studio. He knocked. No answer. I'm coming in, he said, and opened the door. Elena sat on the floor, surrounded by her laptop and documents and half-drunk coffee. She'd been crying. I'm scared, she said without preamble. I'm terrified that I made this huge romantic gesture and it's falling apart and I'm going to lose everything that matters, again. Marcus sat down beside her. You're not losing anything. We're going through a rough patch. That's normal. That's marriage. We've been married 3 weeks. Then we're speed running the hard parts, getting them out of the way early. This isn't funny. I know, but I also know that you don't give up. That's not who you are. You built a company from nothing. You walked away from billions of dollars for this life. You don't quit when things get hard. What if I'm not strong enough? You're the strongest person I know. You just forgot for a minute, but I'm here to remind you. Elena leaned against him. The lawyers want me to settle. Pay off the shareholders. Make it go away. How much, mommy? 2 billion? Maybe 3? Marcus whistled. That's a lot of money. Half my remaining net worth, but it would end this. The media would move on. Lily could go back to school. We could have our life back. Is that what you want? I want you and Lily to stop suffering because of my choices. So yes, I'll pay. Whatever it takes. Okay? Then pay. But don't you dare think for 1 second that we're suffering. Challenged? Yes. Inconvenienced? Absolutely. But suffering never, because we have each other. And that's worth more than $3 billion. Elena kissed him. I don't deserve you. Too bad. You married me. You're stuck with me now. They went back downstairs together. Lily was still up pretending to read, but clearly waiting. We're okay, Elena told her. We had a fight, but we figured it out. Good, because I was worried. You don't have to worry about us, baby. We're solid. Promise. Promise. The next day, Elena authorized her lawyers to start settlement negotiations. The process would take months, but at least there was an end in sight. And slowly, gradually, the media attention started to fade. There were bigger stories, newer scandals. The world moved on. But something had shifted in Elena. She'd faced the worst of her past and decided to pay the price to protect her future. She'd chosen them, again. And this time it felt final, permanent, real. February came, rain and cold and gray Portland skies. But inside the garage there was warmth. Business was actually growing. Word had spread about Elena Vasquez, the motorcycle mechanic, and curious people came to see if it was true. Some stayed because she was good at her job. Some stayed because they liked the story. Either way, the garage was thriving. We need to hire help, Marcus said one evening looking at the schedule. We're booked 3 weeks out. Really? Really, your celebrity status is good for business. Former celebrity status. I'm just a mechanic now. You're a mechanic who used to be worth $8 billion. That's still interesting. I'm worth $6 billion now, down 2 from the settlement. Oh no, however will we survive on a mere $6 billion? Elena threw a shop rag at him. He caught it and pulled her close. I'm proud of you, he said, for handling all of this, for choosing us even when it cost you everything. It didn't cost me everything, it cost me money. That's not the same thing. Still, you could have gone back, could have fought the lawsuit, could have reclaimed your empire. And missed out on this never, she gestured around the garage. This is my empire now. You, Lily, this business we're building together. This is what matters. They hired 2 mechanics the next week. Young guys just out of technical school who were thrilled to work for Elena Vasquez. She trained them patiently, teaching them everything Marcus had taught her. The garage expanded. They took over the space next door when it became available. Walsh and Vasquez Motorcycle Repair became the busiest shop on Morrison Street. "We're actually successful, son," Marcus marveled one night looking at the books. "Like, legitimately profitable." "Did you doubt?" "Honestly, a little. I've been scraping by for so long that success feels weird." "Get used to it. We're just getting started." March brought spring and Lily's 9th birthday. They threw a party at the garage, becoming a theme with pizza and cake and a dozen screaming children running between the motorcycles. "This is chaos," Marcus said, watching kids play tag around a Harley. "This is perfect," Elena corrected, helping Lily blow out candles. Lily made a wish and blew. "What did you wish for?" someone asked. "Can't tell or it won't come true, but it already kind of did." She looked at Marcus and Elena. "I wished for my family to stay together forever. And we will. Right?" "Right, Bum," they said together. That night after the party, after the cleanup, after Lily was asleep, Marcus and Elena sat on their couch. "You know what I realized today," Elena said. "What?" "I'm happy, like genuinely, completely happy. I didn't think that was possible for me. I thought I was broken in some fundamental way, but I'm not. I was just living the wrong life. And now I'm living the right one. Finally. No regrets. Not a single one. Marcus thought about it, about Sarah and the life they had had, about the 3 years of grief that had nearly destroyed him, about the rainy day Elena had walked into his garage and changed everything. No regrets, just gratitude. For what? For you, for second chances, for learning that it's okay to love again even when you thought that part of you died. Elena took his hand. "Sarah would have liked me. You said that once. Do you still think it's true?" "I know it's true. She would have loved you, because you make Lily happy, and you make me happy. That's all she ever wanted for us." "I wish I could have known her." "Me too. But in a weird way, I think she sent you. I think she knew we needed someone, and she found you." "That's a nice thought." "It's the truth. I feel it." They sat in comfortable silence, two people who'd found each other against impossible odds, who'd built something real from broken pieces, who'd learned that love was worth any price. April came, and the settlement finally went through. Elena signed the papers without ceremony. $2.8 billion transferred to shareholders who'd never know her name. The lawsuit was dismissed. The headlines faded. Elena Vasquez became old news. "How does it feel?" Marcus asked. "Being worth half what you were 6 months ago. Honestly lighter, like I cut off dead weight." $3 billion in dead weight. The best money I ever spent. May brought warm weather, and the first anniversary of the day, Elena had walked into the garage. They celebrated by taking Lily on a motorcycle trip up the coast. 3 people, 2 bikes. Selena had her street. Bob Marcus had his Triumph, and Lily rode on the back of his arms wrapped tight around his waist. They stopped at viewpoints and ate fish and chips in seaside towns and stayed in cheap motels that smelled like salt and old carpet. It was perfect. It was exactly what Elena had been searching for when she'd left her old life behind. "Thank you," she said one night, watching the ocean from their motel balcony. "For what?" "For believing in me, for letting me stay, for showing me what life could be. Thank you for choosing us, for giving up everything to be here." "I didn't give up anything. I traded empty success for real happiness. Best deal I ever made." Lily appeared in the doorway. "Can we go swimming tomorrow?" "The ocean's freezing, baby," Marcus said. "I don't care. I want to swim in the ocean with my family." Her family, not her dad and his wife. Her family. They went swimming the next day. The water was indeed freezing. Lily screamed and laughed and splashed them both. Elena's teeth chattered, but she was grinning. Marcus couldn't remember the last time he'd felt so completely, utterly content. This was what Elena had walked away from billions to find. This moment, this feeling, this life. And looking at her face, Marcus knew she'd make the same choice 1,000 times over. They drove home to Portland sunburned and happy and completely exhausted. The garage was waiting, work was waiting, life was waiting, but they were ready. Together. As a family, as partners, as people who'd found each other in the rain and decided to build something that would last forever. "Home?" Elena said, pulling into the driveway. "Home?" Marcus and Lily echoed. And for the first time in Elena's 40 years, the word actually meant something. Summer arrived, and with it came the kind of heat that made Portland forget it was supposed to be perpetually gray and drizzly. The garage became an oven by noon, and Marcus and Elena took to starting work at 6 in the morning to beat the worst of it. Lily finished 3rd grade with straight A's and a glowing report card that Elena hung on the fridge like it was a Pulitzer Prize. They celebrated with ice cream and a promise that summer would be different this year. Better, full of adventures. "Can we go camping?" Lily asked, chocolate ice cream dripping down her chin. "Your dad hates camping," Elena said. "I don't hate it. I just prefer beds and roofs and not being eaten by bears." "There are no bears in the campgrounds, Daddy. Mrs. Chen said so." "Mrs. Chen hasn't been camping since 1987. Her information might be outdated." But they went camping anyway because Lily wanted it, and neither Marcus nor Elena could say no to her anymore. They drove to Mount Hood and pitched a tent that took 3 hours to figure out because the instructions were in Swedish and none of them spoke Swedish. "This is ridiculous," Marcus muttered, holding 2 poles that clearly didn't fit together. "We're intelligent people. We should be able to figure out a tent." "I ran a $50 billion company and I'm defeated by canvas and aluminum," Elena agreed, laughing. "I can do it," Lily announced, and somehow she actually could. 10 minutes later, the tent was up and they were all staring at her in amazement. "How, Cos?" Marcus asked. "I watched a YouTube video while you were arguing." That became the tone for the whole trip. Lily solving problems while Marcus and Elena fumbled through parenting like the amateurs they were. But it was beautiful, sleeping under stars, telling stories around a campfire. Lily falling asleep between them in the tent, her breathing soft and steady. "This is what I was missing," Elena whispered in the dark. "This, all of this. Worth $40 billion. Worth everything." They came home dirty and happy and bitten by mosquitoes. The garage had survived 3 days without them, thanks to the 2 mechanics they'd hired. Marcus had been terrified to leave, convinced everything would fall apart. But it hadn't. The business was strong enough to run itself for a few days. "We built something sustainable," Elena said, looking at the books. "Something that doesn't require us to be there every second. That's your doing, the systems you set up. Our doing. I couldn't have done any of this without you. But the peaceful summer couldn't last forever. In August, Carmen called with news that shattered their little bubble. Elena took the call in the garage office. Marcus heard her voice change, heard the grief that came pouring through. When she emerged 15 minutes later, her face was pale. "My mother's sick. Cancer. Stage 4. The doctors say maybe 6 months." Marcus pulled her close. "I'm so sorry." "She wants me to come to Barcelona, to be with her, to say goodbye." "Then we go, all of us. We close the garage for however long you need." "Marcus, we can't just leave. The business will survive. Your mother won't. This isn't a discussion. We're going." They flew to Barcelona 2 weeks later. First class because Elena insisted and Marcus was too tired to argue. Lily pressed her face against the window the entire flight, watching the world shrink beneath them. Carmen lived in a small apartment in the Gothic quarter surrounded by photos and memories and the smell of sickness that no amount of open windows could clear. She'd lost weight, her skin paper thin, but her eyes were still fierce. "Mija," she said, holding Elena like she might disappear. "You came." "Of course I came. And you brought my granddaughter." Carmen switched to English, reaching for Lily. "Come here, beautiful girl. Let me look at you." Lily went to her shyly. "Are you very sick?" "Very sick, but I'm happy now that you're here." They stayed in Barcelona for 3 weeks. Marcus explored the city with Lily while Elena sat with her mother, the 2 of them speaking Spanish and crying and laughing and making peace with the past. "I was wrong about you," Carmen told Elena one afternoon. "When you started your company, I thought you were choosing money over family, but you were just trying to prove something." "I was trying to prove I was worth something, that I mattered." "You always mattered. I just didn't know how to show you. Your father and I, we were so busy working, surviving. We forgot to tell you that you were enough just as you were." "I know that now. Marcus taught me." "He's a good man, a simple man, but good. You chose well this time." "This time," Carmen smiled. "There were others before him, rich men, powerful men. None of them loved you. They loved what you could do for them. But Marcus, he loves you. I see it in how he looks at you." "I love him too, more than I thought possible." "And Lily, you love her like she's yours." "She is mine, in every way that counts." "Then you have everything. More than I ever gave you. I'm proud of you, Mija, for walking away from the lie and choosing the truth." Elena held her mother's hand. This woman who'd given her life and struggled to give her love and forgave everything that needed forgiving. Carmen died 2 weeks after they returned to Portland. peaceful in her sleep with a photo of Elena and Lily on her nightstand. Elena flew back alone for the funeral, and when she came home 3 days later, she collapsed in Marcus's arms and cried for hours. "She was ready," Elena said finally. "She told me before we left. She said she'd held on long enough to see me happy, and now she could let go. She loved you so much." "I know. I just wish I'd had more time with her. Wish she could have seen more of this life we built." "She saw enough. She knew you were happy. That's what she needed." So, September came and Lily started 4th grade. Elena volunteered to help with the school's STEM program, teaching kids about engineering and problem solving. She was a natural teacher patient and enthusiastic, and the kids loved her. "You should do this full time," Marcus said one evening. "Teach. You're amazing at it." "I like working in the garage." "You can do both. Teach a few classes a week. Make a difference." Elena thought about it. "Maybe, but not yet. Right now, I'm happy where I am." And she was happy. Genuinely, completely happy in a way she'd never been when running Vasquez Tech. She woke up excited for the day. She laughed more. She was lighter, but that didn't mean her past was done with her. In October, David Chen showed up at the garage. He looked older, more tired than the last time they'd seen him. "Elena, can we talk?" "I don't think there's anything left to say." "Please, 5 minutes." Marcus started to intervene, but Elena waved him off. They stepped outside into the October rain. "What do you want, David?" "The company's struggling. Really struggling. The board brought in a new CEO, but she's not you. She doesn't understand the culture, the vision. We're losing people, losing contracts. The stock is down 60% from where it was when you left." "That's not my problem." "But it could be. Come back. The board will vote you back in. They know they made a mistake forcing you out." Elena laughed. "Forcing me out, I left. I chose to leave. You left during a crisis. That's abandonment. No, that's self-preservation. And I'm not coming back. Not for you, not for the board, not for anyone. Elena, you built this company. Don't you care what happens to it?" "Of course I care. But I care more about the life I have here, the family I have here, the person I've become here. Vasquez Tech was my past. This is my present and my future." David looked past her into the garage where Marcus was working on a motorcycle. "You really chose this over everything you built." "I chose happiness over success, love over money, being over doing, and I'd make the same choice every single day for the rest of my life." "You're wasting your potential." "No, I'm finally using it for something that matters." David left, shaking his head. Elena watched him go and felt nothing. No regret, no second thoughts, just peace. That night she told Marcus about the conversation. "Part of me wondered if you'd be tempted," he admitted, "to go back, to reclaim your empire." "Not even for a second. That empire was built on sacrifice and loneliness and forgetting what it meant to be human. I don't want it. I never want it again." "What if in 10 years you change your mind? What if you wake up and realize you gave up too much?" Elena took his face in her hands. "Listen to me. In 10 years, I'll wake up next to you. I'll make breakfast for Lily, who'll probably be a teenager who doesn't want to talk to us. I'll go to work in our garage. I'll fix motorcycles and teach kids and live a small, beautiful life. And I'll be grateful every single day that I was brave enough to choose it. That's not giving up too much. That's gaining everything." Marcus kissed her. "I love you." "I love you too, always." November brought Thanksgiving and a garage full of people. Mr. Patterson and Mrs. Chen and all the neighbors who'd become family. The 2 mechanics they'd hired and their families. Lily's teacher and her husband. A dozen people crammed into their small apartment, eating turkey and laughing and telling stories. "This is what family looks like," Elena said to Marcus, watching Lily show one of the mechanic's kids how to draw a motorcycle. "Not blood, not obligation, just people who choose to love each other. You've come a long way from the woman who showed up in the rain 16 months ago." 16 months. That's all it's been. Feels like forever. Good forever or bad forever? The best forever. December came and brought their first wedding anniversary. They celebrated by closing the garage for a day and taking Lily to the coast to the same beach where they'd gone swimming in May. The water was too cold now, but they walked along the shore, bundled in jackets, watching the waves. "Make a wish," Elena told Lily, handing her a sand dollar they'd found. "What should I wish for?" "Whatever you want most in the world." Lily thought seriously, holding the sand dollar like it was precious. "I wish we could stay like this forever, the 3 of us, happy." "That's a good wish," Marcus said, his voice thick. The best wish, Elena agreed. They drove home as the sun set Lily asleep in the back seat, and Marcus reached for Elena's hand. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Any regrets? Not a single one. You? Only that I didn't find you sooner. That I wasted so much time being someone I wasn't. You found me when you were supposed to, when we were both ready. Elena smiled, spoken like someone who believes in fate. I believe in second chances, and I believe that sometimes broken people find each other and make each other whole. They pulled into the garage driveway. Home. This place that smelled like motor oil and coffee and had become the center of their universe. I have something for you, Elena said, pulling out a small box. We said no gifts. I lied. Open it. Inside was a key. Plain silver ordinary. What's this, Kim? The key to the building next door. I bought it. Well, technically I bought it 6 months ago, but the paperwork just went through. I thought we could expand. Make Walsh and Vasquez Motorcycle Repair into something bigger. Marcus stared at the key. You bought a building. I bought our future. More space. More business. Maybe even a school where we can teach kids about motorcycles and engineering. Something real. Something lasting. Something we build together. Elena, that must have cost money I have and don't need for anything else. Let me do this. Let me invest in us. Marcus looked at her, this woman who'd given up billions to be here, who kept finding ways to make their life better, who loved him and Lily with a fierceness that took his breath away. Okay, let's build it, together. Together, Elena agreed. They went inside and woke Lily up to tell her. She was groggy but excited. Does this mean we're going to be rich? She asked. We're already rich, Elena said. We have each other. That's the only wealth that matters. But can I get a new bike because mine's getting small? Marcus laughed. Yes, baby, you can get a new bike. Then we're definitely rich. That night, after Lily was back asleep, Marcus and Elena sat on their couch planning the expansion, drawing sketches on napkins, arguing about layout and design, dreaming about what they could build. We could have a classroom here, Elena said, pointing to her drawing. Teach kids about engines, about fixing things instead of throwing them away. And a bigger shop floor here, room for 6 bikes at once instead of 3. And an office, a real office with a door. Look at you getting fancy. I spent 20 years in corner offices. Now I want one with motorcycles visible through the window. They planned until midnight, until the napkins were covered in sketches and crossed out ideas and the future they were building together. This is going to be amazing, Marcus said. It already is amazing. This just makes it bigger. No, it makes it permanent. It says we're here to stay, that this isn't temporary or a phase. This is our life now. Elena kissed him. This was always our life. From the moment you helped me in the rain, I just didn't know it yet. It's the months that followed were chaos. Construction and permits, and dealing with contractors who couldn't believe Elena Vasquez, the billionaire, was personally overseeing a motorcycle garage expansion. But she was. Every single day, making decisions, solving problems, building something with her own hands. The grand reopening happened in March, almost 2 years after Elena had first walked into Marcus's life. They threw a party that shut down the whole block. Free food, live music, motorcycle demonstrations. Half of Portland showed up. Look at this, Marcus said, watching the crowd. Look at what we built. We built a community, Elena said. Something that matters. Something that'll last long after we're gone. Lily ran up breathless and excited. Can I tell people about the school, about the classes we're starting? Go ahead, baby, tell everyone. She ran off already explaining to anyone who'd listen about the STEM classes and the motorcycle repair workshops and the after-school program for kids who wanted to learn. She's going to change the world, Elena said, watching her. She already has. She changed ours. They stood together, watching their daughter, their business, their community, their life. Everything they'd built from broken pieces and second chances. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't stopped? Elena asked. That day in the rain? What if you'd told me to call a tow truck instead, every day, and every day I'm grateful I didn't? Me too, because this is everything I never knew I needed. No regrets. Not one. You? Marcus pulled her close. Just one. What? That I didn't kiss you that first day. Would have saved us some time. Elena laughed. We had all the time we needed. We found each other when we were supposed to. The party went late into the night. People came and went, stories were told, friendships were made, and through it all, Marcus and Elena stood together watching the life they'd chosen unfold in front of them. As the last guest left and they locked up the garage, Lily between them holding both their hands, Marcus thought about how far they'd come. From a rainy afternoon to this. From broken and lost to whole and found. "Ready to go home?" he asked. "We're already home," Elena said, gesturing to the garage, to the street, to the life they'd built. "This is home? You two are home. Everything else is just geography." They walked upstairs together, three people who'd been broken in different ways and found healing in each other. A single dad who'd learned to love again. A billionaire who'd learned what truly mattered. A little girl who'd gained a mother she didn't know she needed. The lights in the garage went dark. The street grew quiet. Portland settled in for another night. And inside a small apartment above a motorcycle shop, a family slept peacefully. The richest family in the world, though their wealth couldn't be measured in dollars. It was measured in love, in laughter, in the choice to build something real. Elena had walked away from $40 billion to get here, and looking at Marcus asleep beside her, at Lily's soft breathing from the next room, at the life they'd created together, she knew with absolute certainty that she'd gotten the better deal. Some people spend their whole lives chasing success and never find happiness. Elena had done it backward. She'd found success first and discovered it was hollow. And then when she'd finally stopped chasing and started living, happiness had found her instead. In a garage in Portland, in the arms of a mechanic who'd fixed more than her motorcycle, in the laughter of a daughter who'd taught her what love really meant. She'd been searching for love when she rode away from her empire. She'd found it in the last place she expected, in grease-stained hands, and a man who saw her really saw her not as a billionaire or a CEO, but as Elena. Just Elena, and that had made all the difference. The fairy tale was real after all. It just didn't look like she'd imagined. It looked like ordinary days and extraordinary love. It looked like choosing each other every single morning. It looked like building something that mattered more than stock prices, or board meetings, or Forbes lists. It looked like home. And Elena Vasquez, former tech CEO, current motorcycle mechanic, wife, mother, and the happiest she'd ever been, finally understood what her mother had tried to tell her all those years ago. Success is what you do. Happiness is who you are. And she was finally, completely, beautifully herself.